What's going on, everybody? Russell Clay here for another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Fantasy Guru Dynasty League Devy draft. And this is something that I loved doing. I loved having a Dynasty League with the Devy element, but a simple Devy element. I think a lot of people get intimidated by having to evaluate prospects a couple years in advance, and I think we did it really in a healthy way here for the Fantasy Guru subscribers and, some of our staff as well. So anyway, we're going to be going over that draft today and taking a look at that. For those of you that don't know, I am Russell Clay. I'm a staff writer over at FantasyGuru.com. And you can find all of my work over there. You can come hang out with us in the Discord. We talk about this draft. We talk about dynasty trades. We talk about all that fun stuff, startups, etc. Come hang out with us. And we also have a ton of season-long content as well. So please come enjoy that. But that is not the point of why we're here today. Please give this video a like. And also subscribe if you find anything valuable here today. And hey, even if you don't, give it a like anyway. All right, let's take a look at this. So let's jump into this Devy draft here. So again, for those of you that don't know, a Devy draft means basically that we're drafting players that are in college currently and are going to be entering the NFL at some point, but are not there yet. So we have two 14 league conferences, two 14 team conferences, so a 28 team league. So we are going to have 2 copies of every player. And as you can see here, we got started off quickly with Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr. For those of you that don't know, Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr., you're going to want to get to know those names. Those are 2 of the top prospects in next year's draft, not just among skill players, but, among all players in the next year's draft. Marvin Harrison Jr., of course, you know that name. I guess we can pull up some Marvin Harrison, not Marvin Gaye, Google, not Marvin Gaye. So Marvin Harrison Jr. is 6'4", 205 pounds, an absolute behemoth of a prospect here. Pretty much everything you want in a wide receiver. He, of course, has the pedigree and the name, but that is far from what is making him this exceptional prospect. As you can see, 14 touchdowns last year, 1,200 yards on a completely loaded depth chart. So really special guy there. And then let's go to Caleb Williams, a guy that transferred from Oklahoma after a very special freshman season, was exceptional. I mean, up and down for the standards we have for him, but overall was just really great in his sophomore season as well. This guy's going to be a top 5 pick and someone we're really looking forward to as a prospect over the next couple years, and a guy that maybe he isn't Trevor Lawrence, but he's maybe the tier below that. So, all right. So, and then we have Drake May. And, of course, these Devy picks that have come to be, these players that are being drafted, the Devy picks were selected. So, actually, let's go to that. And let's go to our startup draft. So, Caleb Williams, let's go to see where our first Devy pick is. So it was 74 overall. 3rd round is when Caleb Williams was selected. And I'd love to hear Tyler Watkins' thoughts behind this draft pick, because this is a big part of his team now. Having Caleb Williams, coming up next year, that's basically, he has the 101 in the 2024 rookie draft already on his roster. So he's got Kirk Cousins, he's got Geno Smith, he's got CJ Stroud. And he's also got, this stud quarterback coming that's going to be the top quarterback on this depth chart this time next year. I already have him as an 85 in the FantasyGuru Dynasty rankings. So that's what we're looking at here, everyone. He may still be in college and you aren't going to be getting fantasy points from him this year, but Tyler made a nice big investment for himself and is going to be looking at, a very, very high-end player in his first team next year. And then, Ricky Williams Ashtray, great name. Ryan, said, hey, wait a second, I want Marvin Harrison. I want this guy who's an absolute stud, going to be a wide receiver, one for me, hopefully starting next year, if not 2 years from now. And he already has some good quarterbacks. He's got Lamar, Mac Jones, Russell Wilson, so he's not really worried there. And, he kind of faded wide receiver other than having A.J. Brown and Michael Pittman. So adding Marvin Harrison Jr. to this depth chart by next year is going to be a really, really awesome addition. He's got Jonathan Mingo as well, Rashee Rice, some nice depth, but adding a guy like Marvin Harrison to already A.J. Brown and Michael Pittman would be a huge, huge upgrade. And, if Lamar can stay healthy and Russell Wilson can sort of stay afloat, this team's going to be scary by next year. So, again, that's how you kind of look at Devy. It's like, all right, Drake May for Beandog. Let's take a look at that real quick. What do we got here? So Drake May, he's got Justin Fields, he's got Desmond Ridder, but beyond that, he doesn't really have much. But now that he has Drake May on his taxi squad here coming up next year, you're not really sweating out who your QB2 is for next year. You have Desmond Ridder, and that's probably going to be a guy that can start for you all year in a super flex. And if Desmond Ridder shits the bed, hey, it might be a little lean this year, but by next year you'll have another stud quarterback. So that is something I like to see. Egbuka, another good, probably first round wide receiver here. And then we get into Brock Bowers, who I ended up taking and Dallas did as well. Brock Bowers, one of the best tight end prospects we've seen over the last couple years. And, we did have Kyle Pitts, who I still stand with him being the best tight end prospect I've ever seen. But Brock Bowers is maybe a tier below. In the last 20 years, I think Pitts and Bowers are probably the best two prospects we've seen. So exciting stuff there that I really like. A sneaky one that I'm actually really excited about is Nick Singleton, taken by Mr. Tron. Josh, good guy there. Singleton is a monster, super explosive. I think he's next in line of the Penn State running backs to really emerge. I think he showed a lot in sort of a it's going to be a committee because who's the other guy with Nick Singleton? I forget who the other guy is in that depth chart. Oh, that's not Nick Singleton. Well, anyway, Nick Singleton has a really, really tough guy to deal with for battling for touches. So, keep that in mind. But I think he's a guy who could rise into eventually being a first round running back here. So explosive. And, we've seen Penn State producing some of the best athletes among all positions over the last decade. And I think, 3 years with them, he's going to be crushing. Some other guys I like, let's see, Arch Manning and Quinn Ewers, gonna be an interesting year at Texas. I honestly don't know who's gonna start most of the year there. I'd give Quinn the advantage, but Arch has all the pedigree, 5-star recruit, and is another player that has the Marvin Harrison Jr. type bloodline and seemingly the skills to go along with it. So that's going to be one to watch. Raheem Rocket Sanders, that's an exciting one. I'm really liking him. He went later in this draft, late first round. Again, a lot of people are trying to draft quarterbacks here to get the next quarterback. 14-team leagues, it's really, really hard to have competent quarterbacks through all 14 teams. So that makes them even more valuable in this format. So really like some of the selections there. Travion Henderson, a guy that has sort of dealt with injuries here and there and some stacked depth charts, but another player I'm very curious about. And yeah, Bo Nix is one we laughed in our chat because Bo Nix is kind of getting some shit. At early career, Bo Nix was, pretty ugly for the most part, but he did look better in that Oregon system last year and does seem to be improving. So, but yeah, again, there's a lot of elements to this draft, even with it being one round and 2 copies. It's only one round. But these are the guys that are going to be coming into and being big impact players over the next couple years. So it's really fun to see this type of draft, and then have a lot of people who haven't done a Devy draft before kind of get involved here. Quinshon Junkins, I missed him as well. That guy is potentially special. So anyway, so that is a quick review of our Devy draft. I'm sure I'm going to be looking deeper into this as college football season gets here and as we trend towards, football starting for us. But I just wanted to give a quick little recap for our subscribers and also, just people in general to see some of the fun stuff we got going on over here at Fantasy Guru. So I hope you guys enjoyed the talk. And if you've never been in a Devy league, I did a Devy panel at the Fantasy Football Expo a few weeks ago, and it's like, find a group of guys and maybe you can add it to your Dynasty league, or maybe you can just get in a startup with a bunch of like-minded folks, maybe people who haven't done it before either, or maybe, a few grizzled veterans and such. But, get people who want to do this stuff with you, because I know for me, I've been doing this for probably a decade now. It adds a really, really fun element of, Raheem Sanders is playing in a good matchup this week. I think he's going to go for 100+ yards. I got to see this. This might, boost his stock or get some more scouts looking at him. Or, Marvin Harrison is opted out the rest of the year. Egbuka is going to be, getting 10, 12 targets a game from here on out. So anyway, everyone, thank you all for tuning in, and I will see you next time.